Alright, so today we're going to be looking at something called natural logs. Specifically, we're going to be writing logs as an exponential and an exponential as a log. Alright, so a couple of reminders before we get started here, guys. One thing that we have looked at is how to convert a log into an exponential. So if you look at this first example I have here, we've got log base 5 of 25 equals to 2. And we have talked about how we can convert this into a exponential. And in this particular case, that log now becomes 5 to the second power equals 25. And again, this is something that we've already talked about in the past. Something else that we've talked about is how to go from an exponential into a log. So here I have the exponential 6 squared equals 36. And if I want to write this as a log, that now becomes log base 6 of 36 equals 2. So all of this we've discussed in the past. We're just going to elaborate on that today. Alright, so one other quick reminder. We did also talk about something called a common log, and a common log is basically when we have a log that has a base of 10, which is what we have here. Log base 10 of 100 equals 2. And we said that anytime we have a common log, rather than writing as log base 10, we would simply write it as log of 100 equals to 2. Okay, so these two are equivalent. This is what we call a common log. What we're going to be looking at today is something called a natural log. And a natural log is kind of like a common log. It has a very specific base here. Alright, so today what you're going to see is you're going to see some logs, and the base of these logs is going to be e. Okay, not 10, but e. Now that e represents an actual number. Okay, so that number is approximately 2.718. So again, e is an actual number. It's kind of like pi. Pi is what? 3.14, on and on and on. It's the same idea here with e. E is also a number. And what's going to happen is, rather than writing this log base e, what we're going to do instead is we're going to use this notation instead. Okay, so notice we've got ln. This represents a natural log. So it's the kind of same idea as what we did with the common logs. Okay, so common logs over here, when we had a base of 10, we simply left off that 10 and just wrote it as logs. Over here today, what's going to happen is when we have a base of e, we're going to write it in the form of ln. Okay, so again, notice the only change from this log to this log is the fact that log base e is now written as ln. Alright, so here's what your assignment's going to look like. You're going to be asked to write an exponential as a log, as we see here. And the exponential we have here is e squared is approximately 7.389. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and convert this into a log. Okay, so that log would look something like this. Log base e, because that's what this base is, of 7.389, that's that thing called that argument, is approximately 2. Okay, so your exponent should be out here. Now remember what I said earlier. Rather than writing it as log base e, what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this log base e with an ln, meaning natural log. Notice these two numbers are still the same. So the only change is this log base e has now become natural log, ln. Alright, so now we can answer this question here. ln blank is approximately 2. Well, as you can see from my log that I have over here, the missing value is 7.389. Okay, so the answer to this one would be 7.389. That's what you would type into the box there. Okay, let's go ahead and give another one a try here. Again, we got an exponential, and we're going to write in the form of a log. So here we have base e raised to the 1.609 power is approximately 5. So the first thing I want to do is I want to write this as a log, just like we've done in the past. So that now becomes log base e, that's the base right here, of 5 is approximately 1.609. So again, all I've done is written this exponential in the form of a log. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace this log base e, because remember I said anytime we have that base e, we can rewrite that using the natural log notation. That's this ln right here. Notice the two numbers are still the same. The only thing that's changing is log base e to ln. Alright, so now that I have this in this form, now I can come over here and fill in the blank. Notice I've got natural log 5, that's what I have right here, is approximately, in our case that's going to be 1.609. So what goes in the blank here is 1.609. Alright, let's switch things up on this one. Now I've got a log, and what we're going to do is write it as an exponential. Okay, so we got the log, we're going to write it as an exponential. So here we got natural log of 7.389 is approximately 2. Well, first of all, we know that natural log is the equivalent of log with a base of e. Okay, so ln is the same thing as log base e. Okay, notice I still got that 7.389 and it's still approximately 2. So the only change is this ln to log base e. And the reason I'm doing this is because now I'm going to take this and write it in the form of an exponential, which we've done. We did that last week. Okay, so this can now be written as e squared is approximately 7.389. Okay, so now that I have this exponential, I can come over here and fill in this blank. Notice I've got e squared, that's what I have right here, is approximately, in our case, 7.389. Okay, let's go ahead and try that again. And again, notice that we have a log that we're going to start with, and we're going to write it in the form of an exponential. So here we got natural log of 8 is approximately 2.079. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this in this form right here. Okay, so we know that natural log is the same thing as log with a base of e. So the only change from here to here is that ln, the natural log, is now written as log with a base of e. And the reason I do that is so that I can take this and convert it into the form of an exponential. Okay, so I'm going to write this as an exponential, which would be e raised to the 2.079 power is approximately 8. Okay, so that's the exponential. Now that I have this exponential, I'm going to come over here and fill in the blank. So what's missing? Well, we got that exponent 2.079. We got approximately 8. So what I'm missing is the e, the base. Okay, so what I'm going to put here is e, which is our base. Okay, here we go again. We got a log, and we're going to write this as an exponential. So here we got natural log of 7 is approximately 1.946. So first, let's go ahead and rewrite this. Rather than using ln, let's use that log with a base of e. Remember, this and this are equivalent. And the reason I want it written in this form is so that I can write it in the form of an exponential. So let's convert this as an exponential just like we did last week. So that now becomes e raised to the 1.946 power is approximately 7. Okay, so now that I have this exponential, I can come over here and fill in the blank. I've got the e, I've got the base, I've got the approximately 7. So what I'm missing as my exponent is this 1.946. So that's what goes here in the blank, 1.946. Let's try one more example here. We've got a natural log, and we're going to convert it in the form of an exponential. So here it goes. So let's go ahead and start off by rewriting this log with a log base e. Okay, so remember, natural log is the equivalent of log with a base e. Now that I have this log, we're going to convert it into an exponential, which means that this now becomes e raised to the -3 power is approximately 0.05. So I've converted this into this. Okay, so now I can come over here and fill in the blank. Notice I've got e to the -3rd, that's this right here, and it's approximately 0.05. So that's what goes in the blank here. Therefore, the answer is 0.05. Alright guys, now it's your turn. I want you to go ahead and try that out. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to leave them in Google Classroom, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. All right, good luck.